Welcome. I'm really excited today to talk about the 10 things that you cannot afford to miss out on when you're selling your home in 2025. Man, it is going to be a ride this year. It is going to be special. I'm calling for it. I'm making predictions now. 2024 was rough. I think we're going to be at sub 4 million total home sales for the year, which is crazy low, very, very low, lowest it's been in decades. 2025 is going to be much better. And I think that with interest rates, with where they are going, with the reduction of rates, actually, so I'm mortgage rates, right? Because interest rates are different than mortgage rates. And with the Fed cutting, slashing, and with more buyer confidence and seller confidence going into 2025, it is going to make for a really, really, really strong year. And with that being said, you really have to prepare your home the right way. I don't believe it's going to be an another 2021 and 2022 where you just list your home for sale and that's it. I do not believe that's going to happen. You really have to focus on this 10-step process, and I'm going to go over. It's going to be vitally important, I promise you. And this is going to set you up for success guaranteed, okay? I promise you. I have done this 100 times, over 100 times. And I can say that when my clients follow this 10-step process, they are always successful. Okay? Always successful. I will stake my career on this. They are always successful when they follow this 10-step process. And I promise you, if you do it too, you're also going to be successful. And then you really have to break it down to, well, what do you define as success? For you, when you're thinking about selling your home, what does success look like? Is it a dollar amount? Is it getting exactly what you want from the list price standpoint to the sale price standpoint? Or is it the terms of the contract? Or is it the quickness of the sale? I would argue that it's all three of those. It's the best price, the best terms, and closing on your timeline. To me, that's a successful sale when it comes to listing and selling your home. So that's what we're going to talk about today. That's what this whole discussion is going to be about today, and how you cannot miss out on this opportunity, because we are going to see a lot more buyers entering the market in 2025 because interest rates, they will go down. I'm not saying that they're going to go down dramatically. I'm not saying that we are going to see 4% interest rates or 3% interest rates. I do think we're going to see low sixes to high fives. And when that interest rate hits high fives and you can buy it down to low fives or even high fours, that is when we unlock a lot more listings coming to the market, because that's what we need right now. We are in a housing crisis with the housing inventory crisis and affordability, but we're talking specifically about the process, the 10 steps you have to take to list and sell your home. And I have my handy dandy little presentation already set up for you guys. Oh man, I love doing this stuff. This is it. This is the goal right here. Okay. So I'm going to put this into full screen. We're talking about the 10 steps that you cannot afford to miss when you're listing and you're selling your home in 2025. Okay. Here's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to break it down for you so it's very easy to understand. And then honestly, you can come back to this. If you're not able to watch it today, you can come back to it at any time next year and know that okay, I need more help with this. I need more understanding about this aspect. But here's the agenda. We're going to set the foundation, establishing trust and a clear plan with your agent. That's step number one. I'm not going to go into more detail because we're going to get to that. Preparing your home. We're going to talk about all things getting your home ready, steps to declutter, upgrade stage, everything that you need to start doing now in order to get your home ready to sell in 2025, whenever you decide to do it, or even 2026. These rules are not, they're not rules, but they're very strong suggestions. These tips that I'm going to give you, you can utilize them even if you're selling in 26 or 27. Creating visual appeal, photos, virtual tours, videos, things like that. That's my true passion. That's what I love to do. Pricing and marketing, that's another passion. I love figuring out the right list price and marketing the property and getting it out there, and then really just going that extra mile, right? So the additional tips to ensure a smooth and profitable sale. And I'm going to make sure that I also have my notes out here because I don't want to miss out on anything. And I'm very this live stream is going to be very, very detailed, right? Very detailed. And again, I want it to be something that you can come back to time and time again when you need more clarity around any aspect of listing and selling your home. Now, arguably one of the most important steps. So we are going to talk about the kickoff meeting that you have with your agent anytime that you list and sell your home and you're working with a real estate agent. 90% of people sold their home with a real estate agent last year and in the 2024. 90%. So that means 10% did it for sale by owner. Not all of those homes sold, only 5 or 6% sold. Okay. So that means that the other percent either just decide to not sell for whatever reason, or they're going to then list and sell with the real estate agent. Your kickoff meeting with the real estate agent, man, if I could impart to you how important that is through this video, I'm going to do everything I can, because trust is vital when it comes to selling your home. When you're working with a real estate agent, you have to trust them, right? And you have to treat this as an interview, okay? The first meeting is your chance to interview your agent. That first initial meeting, that's when you're going to have that interview process. You have to know, like, you can not know the person at all, right? It's completely okay. The vast majority of people who sell their homes, they don't actually personally know their agent. You know, it's a small percentage that they know them, they're friends with them, or their family members or something like that. But the vast majority, they don't actually know each other. Okay. They don't. They don't, and that's okay. You don't need to know your agent when you first meet them, but you better get to know them. Okay. You better get to know them and get to really understand how they work, right? This is an interview process. You're sitting down with your agent and you're actually having an interview with them. You're going to ask them questions. You're going to find out, what is their market knowledge? What do they know about the market right now? What do they know about your local market, right? That's important. What do they know about your local market? You have to gauge their familiarity with the local market, with which you're selling the property, and do they understand the recent sales? Are they knowledgeable about what's currently on the market? How long those properties have been on the market? If they're not selling, why they're not selling? You have to know if they understand the demographics of people who are moving there. That's important, right? Wouldn't you say that you want your agent to know and understand who is actually going to be moving into the area? I mean, look, it's impossible to know with exact certainty, but for the majority of these local markets, like, you have if your agent is actively working in them, they have a good idea of who is moving to these areas, right? And again, I'm not saying it has to be absolutely perfect at all, but they have to have a good understanding of that. A knowledgeable agent will help set realistic expectations and navigate the market effectively. Okay. That's important, right? Because local market knowledge is very important. Now, I do want to say this, your agent doesn't necessarily have to live in that local market. They can understand other markets if they do not live there. Okay. For me, I work in greater Philadelphia. I live in Chester County, Pennsylvania, in Downeytown, Pennsylvania. So Downeytown is the town, Chester County is the county. Greater Philadelphia is multiple counties that surround the city of Philadelphia. Okay. So we have Chester County, Delaware County, Bucks County, Montgomery County. Then you have Lehigh County, which I don't really know that well, but I also have another market, which is the Pocono Mountains. Not the entire Pocono Mountains, more Carbon and Monroe counties, which is what I know a little bit more. But I don't live there. I have a house up there, but I don't actually live there. But I understand what's happening in those local markets. So your agent doesn't necessarily have to live there, but they have to understand there. And then next, you want to discuss the selling timeline. Your selling timeline, and you have to figure out and get an idea from your agent how quickly they think your home is going to sell. So here's important information about timelines. So when you're thinking about selling your home, you have a timeline that you want to meet. It could be 30 days, 45 days, 60 days, 90 days, right? But you have a timeline that you want to meet. So you want to understand, okay, if I'm at 60 days and you're talking to your agent, you want to gauge, okay, how long do you think it's going to sell? Or how long do you think it's going to take to sell? Is it going to be 30 days? Is it going to be 45? I want you to make sure that you know that I want 60 days. That's my goal. Be flexible, right? Because whoever, markets all over the US are always different. So you have to understand, this is why it's important to talk to local agents, where the days on market, DOM, that's an important thing. You also want to talk about pricing strategy, right? And I have a whole section on this later that I'm going to go really deep with you about pricing because it's so important. And I really want you to understand this. I'm not going to touch that much on it now. Same thing with marketing. I have a really deep, it's a section coming up, really deep conversation we're going to have about that. And then this, to me, honestly, is probably the most important thing that you can do with your real estate agent. Okay. There's a lot of important things, but this next piece, what I'm going to say, is one of the most important things you can do with your real estate agents, and that is setting clear communication expectations. You have to be clear with your agent. We are not mind readers. We are not. So you have to tell us when we're having that initial conversation how you want to be communicated with, how often you want to be communicated with, what method, text, call, email, smoke signal, in person, I don't know, whatever it is, whatever works for you. You have to set clear expectations up front. Do you want to be updated every day about what's going on, every week? Right? You have to set clear expectations. You have to establish the right channels to communicate from as well, because again, we are not mind readers. We can't figure this out without you telling us. And it's very important for you to understand that. And then you have to clarify the game plan. You have to clarify the next steps, right? Okay, where do we go from here? You have this conversation with your agent. You love what they have to say. You love what they're bringing to the table. Where do we go from here? What is the next steps? And every agent needs to have a plan moving forward with you when it comes to listing and selling your home. Now, this next section, prepping your home, decluttering, and depersonalizing. There isn't a magic formula for this at all. Everyone's house is different. The amount of stuff you have in your house is different than the amount of stuff that I have in my house. You might live a more minimalist lifestyle. You might have a bedroom that's full of toy trains, right? I don't know. Everyone's different, but you want to clear excess items. You want to create space back into your home. If you're like me, and I know pretty much every homeowner does this to some degree, when you come in your home, when you're coming home from work, you're coming home from the supermarket, you're coming home from volleyball practice, whatever it is, we have areas where we just throw stuff, right? We just get rid of it. Maybe you hang your coats on a coat rack or hooks on the back of the door, but you have that chair, you have that countertop space where you just throw stuff and it accumulates there, right? We have junk drawers and then we have junk countertops, right? It just accumulates there, but you want to work on clearing excess items, remove clutter. It gives your home a clean, open feel, and it makes everything feel larger and more inviting. That is the goal. That is what you're trying to do when you're decluttering your home. You want the buyers, when they're touring your property, not to be inundated by a bunch of stuff and like walking around the power wheels to try and get into the closet to see how much space is in there, right? You want to declutter as much as possible. Aim for that minimalist look. That's really the goal. If you were like, okay, well, where do I start with decluttering? Aim with the minimalist look. As least amount of stuff possible on the kitchen countertops, on the dining room table, on the dressers, on top of the refrigerator, right? These areas that you see when you walk into a home, you want to make sure that they are cleaned up, declutter, take the junk off, take it off, put it somewhere else, put it in a box. You're going to be moving anyway. So start early. And then you want to work on removing your personal decor. Look, my style is way different than your style. I actually don't like a lot of stuff. I don't need all kinds of paintings that we have our kids' paintings, right? All over the place that they've been doing for years. We just have random stuff that we like, that we enjoy. We have this map downstairs with you can put those pin tacks or whatever they are of where you've traveled. We have one of those. Like, I love that, right? These really personal things too. If you have pictures up on the walls, your wife, your boyfriend, your family, whoever it is, your friends, we're going to depersonalize as well. We're going to start getting that stuff off the walls. We're going to remove it, right? We don't want personal decor up there unless it really fits that minimalist style. But we're going to depersonalize as much as possible because, again, we're creating the atmosphere that buyers can see themselves in your home. That is the goal. When somebody comes in your home, they want it to look like nobody lives there. So they can see themselves in it. They want to act like, okay, well, no one even lives here. This is great. But you do, right? And everything is away in closets. Everything is boxed up and it's in the storage, or maybe it's in the garage, or it's in the basement somewhere in the unfinished part, whatever. Declutter, depersonalize as much as possible. And then you want to do a deep clean. Okay. This is important. You want to do a big, deep clean. There's two ways to do this. I guess that's four. There's two ways to do a deep clean, right? You do it yourself or you hire someone to do it. That's it. You do it yourself or you hire someone to do it. I always say, if you have the money, if you have the extra funds, hire someone to do it. They're just going to do a much better job than you. I'm sorry. Unless you are a very tidy person who cleans all the time, or you own your own cleaning business, hiring someone to do it, they're going to do a much better job because they know what to do exactly. But if you're doing it yourself, okay, you focus on those high traffic areas as much as possible, right? You want to get, the tops of the doorways that are all dusty. You want to get the ceiling fans that are all dusty, the shelves, right? Lift the books up, dust underneath, things like that, that people are going to see eventually. Deep cleaning is huge. It changes so much. It will change the look of your home. If you focus on these things, you declutter, depersonalize, deep clean, DDD, right? If you focus on that, it's going to completely change the aesthetic of your home. It's going to make you feel better too. I guarantee that. It's going to make you feel better. It's going to change the aesthetic, and it's going to help you sell quickly and for more money. All right. Now let's focus on these small updates that can really make a big impact, because you don't have to do a complete overhaul. You do not have to do complete renovations, right? Every market is different. You can sell a home where the kitchen hasn't been updated in 20 years. You're not going to get as much for the home that has the updated kitchen, but like a lot of time, I'm seeing homes in my market that were selling for 550, maybe back in 2020, with renovated kitchens and updated bathrooms. I'm seeing that same home being listed and then sold in the sevens now. And it's like, I have to buy this for the buyers, right? That's great for the sellers, but the buyers coming in, they're like, I'm going to pay $725 and I'm going to have to do the kitchen and the bathrooms. And it's insane, right? So that's really important. That goes back to local market knowledge, but we're going to focus on small updates with big impacts, right? You can do a lot of small things that are going to make a big change. Well, let's look at the kitchen and the bathrooms. Painting cabinets. It's not a bank breaker. You can do it yourself if you have the time, right? This channel's all about helping you do things DIY when it comes to listing and selling your home. If you have the funds, go for it. Paint cabinets instead of getting all new cabinets installed. Add new hardware. Add new faucets. Same thing with the bathrooms, right? If you add new hardware, if you add new faucets, you can update vanities for pretty cheap, right? You can buy a new vanity for $200, $250. It's something you can absolutely do yourself if you want. You can hire it out as well. Changing out the mirrors. Those are like two of the big areas, right? Kitchens and bathrooms. If you can make small updates that aren't going to break the bank and make you then have to completely renovate it, like that's going to give you a big return. Like that is going to give you a big return. I promise. Then we'll move from kitchens and baths to lighting, fixtures, paint, and carpet. Lighting, fixtures, paint, carpet. That's like the 4 horsemen, in my opinion, of small updates, huge impact. Lighting, fixtures, paint, carpet. The 4 horsemen. If you are on a budget and you want to make a big impact, focus on those 4 different items, okay? Painting is going to be the most expensive one if you hire it out, okay? That's most likely, I mean, you could probably argue and say flooring, but here's the thing. When it comes to painting, you can do that yourself. You can absolutely do that yourself if you have the time. I would strongly suggest, if you have no painting experience, to hire it out, but you can absolutely do it yourself if you want. That's going to help you save on money. Flooring, new carpets, refinishing hardwood floors, adding luxury vinyl plank, right? Replacing. That's going to be a little bit more expensive, but the return you get is greater than the amount of money you put into it. And then you have fixtures and lighting. Those two, a lot cheaper to do, okay? You have those little boob lights, you got to switch them out, man. Nobody wants them anymore. They make homes look old. These are staging things, or these are repair things that you have in your house that make it look old. And you can update them. It is much easier to update them to replace them. Fixtures too. We're looking at smaller investments without completely renovating it that are going to change the look. They will change the aesthetic of your home. And you're going to get a greater return on those 4 items than pretty much anything else. More than finishing off square feet. I mean, unless you're in an area that's like almost every house has an in-law suite. So I have to finish my garage, make an in-law suite to be like these houses, right? But for the most part, the amount of money you put in, you're going to get more back when you sell the property. So small updates. And then on that same note, in addition to small upgrades, it's making the repairs that you know need to be made. Okay. Leaky faucets, leaky, anywhere, whether it's in a sink or it's in the bathtub, things like that. Small repairs. You have a cabinet door that's hanging off, repairing that. Chip, we talked about paint. So anywhere there's chip paint, like making small repairs that need to be done, that's going to help as well. That is really something that you want to focus on. But paint, lighting and fixtures, kitchens and baths, doing small repairs, that's going to give you a big return. Now we're going to move on to staging, right? Because we want to show we want to show your house in the best possible strategy, right? Or the best possible way. You want to show it in the best possible light. And the way you do that, and this is all like in a row too, okay? So understand that this is all in a row. Once you take care of the other things that we talked about, so you met with your agent, you started decluttering and you started depersonalizing, you worked on making any kind of small updates for those big returns, you fix small repairs that need to be fixed that have been bugging you for years. And now we're going to think about staging. And what I tell people when it comes to staging is you want to focus on having your home show like a model home, like a new construction model home. That's the goal. That's what you want. I'm not saying your home has to be new construction, but you want it to show that way. Because, again, it's all about buyer appeal. The more a buyer appeals to your home, the more they can see themselves living in it, the more likely they are to make you an offer, okay? So when it comes to staging, use what you have. Absolutely use what you already have. A lot of people already have the furniture they need in their home. And if you have 30-year-old furniture, I mean, it's a little bit different, right? And obviously situations are different. So it's like some people just can't move it and they just leave it there, but use what you have. Arrange furniture to maximize space and create more of a flow. Really create that welcoming layout because that's what buyers are looking for. And again, they want to be able to comfortably see themselves living in your home, but use what you already have. Use what you have. It's going to be the easiest way to do it. Next, you want to focus on neutral decor for a broad appeal. Again, this goes back to that minimalist style that I already mentioned to you, but use neutral decor. Just like you're doing neutral paint that everyone's going to love because people are going to come in and they're going to change it anyway. You don't, unless you're selling luxury penthouses in Manhattan, which is obviously different, right? Then you're going to use luxury furniture for staging if you don't already have it. But for the average person that's listing and selling their home, you don't need high-end furniture, okay? Use what you have, create neutral decor that has that broad appeal. So the styles are not necessarily what appeals the most to buyers, but they're going to be able to look beyond clutter and they're going to be able to look beyond bulky furniture. I have pieces like that, right? Like I have the recliner that I love, super comfortable with a cup holder and the lights in the cup holder, right? From a staging standpoint, it doesn't really show well, right? So if I was listing and selling this home, I could use my couch and the love seat, but I'm going to take that chair out because it doesn't fit. And I know that. And I'm sure we all have pieces like that. You have the Christmas Carol lampshade. You got to take it out, man. You got to put something else in there. Buyers don't want that. And they're not necessarily going to be drawn in to that style. But if it's more minimalist, if it's more neutral, they're going to be able, again, to really see themselves in that home compared to if you have, your red leather couch that you absolutely love that you bought 10 years ago, right? Things like that. I get it, I get it. And again, every situation is different. So use what you have when it comes to staging and utilize neutral decor. Here's a pro tip for you. If you have the funds, you can hire a professional stager. Also, another pro tip, most stagers will give you a free consultation and they'll actually tell you how to utilize what you already have. Okay. And their goal is to sell you on their services. And a great stager holds their weight in gold. I promise you, a great stager is really going to be able to show your house better than you ever could. Okay. But if you have the funds, utilize them. Hire the stager. They're going to use their furniture that they already have to really make your. And I've worked with tons of sellers who utilize professional staging, especially investors. I work a lot with people who are listing and selling investment properties that they're flipping. And it's a good idea to have someone come in and stage it, because a lot of times these homes are vacant with nothing in it and it's just like bland. That's like, yeah, whatever. But hiring a stager or an interior designer just to get a consultation is a huge pro tip. Because even if you have to pay for a consultation, it's like $150. I don't know, $100, 150, 200, depending on where you're at. And then you get a really good sense, a third set of eyes on the property rather than you and your real estate agent, because I don't know interior design. I don't claim to know it. I know what looks good to the average buyer, but I can't see what they see. So hire a professional stager if you have the funds to actually do the staging or just for the consultation. All right. First impressions start outside. The way you really hook a buyer in is by curb appeal. Curb appeal. Oh my gosh, it's so important. Landscaping and a clean exterior, fresh front door paint, or replacing it altogether, and adding lighting, right? You want to make sure your yard is cleaned up. The grass is cut, landscaping is done well, bushes are trimmed, you have seasonal flowers, clean the windows, clean the gutters, clean the exterior of your home, especially the front, because buyers are going to drive up and they're going to have a first impression. Just like in anything in life, when you're meeting someone new, you have a first impression by how they look. You're going out on a date, the other person shows up in ripped, baggy sweatpants with a sweatshirt that's 2 times the size of what they should wear, completely disheveled, you know, no hair, maybe frizzled hair. I don't know. You're going to be like, I don't know, I'm not into this person. First impressions are everything, especially when your house, especially with your house. Get on top of that curb appeal. Do everything you can within reason, within financial means as well, to make sure that the front of your home really looks the best that it possibly can. A lot of this stuff you can do yourself. You can lay mulch yourself. You can trim the hedges yourself. You can weed yourself. You can cut the lawn yourself. You can paint the door yourself. You can paint the steps yourself. If it comes to siding, if you have aluminum siding or stucco or brick, obviously, if there's major issues there, you want to get them addressed and taken care of. But like, you can get all this stuff. You can do most of the stuff, but if you need to hire someone, then hire a company, right? Hire a landscaping company, hire a power washer. If you don't have a power washer, hire someone to actually come and do it. Dude, you can change the aesthetics so quick just by power washing. A lot of people don't realize how dirty the exterior of their house is. A lot of people do not realize that. Change it up, man. Do something that really is going to help the curb appeal and really capture the essence of your home when a buyer first pulls up to it. It is going to help tremendously. Lighting is important as well. If it's someone's coming to see your home at night and it's well lit, they're going to like that. That's going to be something that really helps them see themselves buying your home as well. All right. Next up, we're talking about professional photography and virtual tour. So the next 3 slides, the next 3 points are really on the real estate agent that you work with. But if you're selling your home yourself, you need to understand this as well. These are 3 things that I excel in personally. These are 3 things that I absolutely love to do. And let me know in the comments below if you're getting value from this, if this is resonating with you, if this is helping you actually plan out in your head. Okay, I need to work on these things when I listen sell my home, because I don't know. I want to know what content you need to know more. Like I think of this 10-step process and I'm like, okay, these people, but I don't really know. If there, what else do you really need to know? Comment below. So stand out online with professional media. And I say media because it's not just photos anymore. It's photos, it's videos, it's drone photos, drone videos, and it's 3D tours. All of those are going to help your home stand out online. I say 99%, but it's probably 100%. But 99% of buyers are shopping online first. They are going on Zillow and they're looking at homes for sale where they want to buy. I don't know what the other 1% does. I don't know. It's not like homes are in newspapers anymore, but everyone is looking online first. Again, first impressions. First impressions are everything. Just like when it comes to curb appeal, first impressions online are everything. They're going to make or break the sale of your home. You have to hire someone, you have to hire a professional. They can showcase your home in ways that you cannot. Hands down, right? And you have to do, in my opinion, at minimum, professional photos, HDR photos, at minimum. But I would say now going into 25, at minimum, photos and a video. That's what your agent should be doing. Photos and a video. Let me see. I'm just trying to check the chat, make sure nothing's in there. Okay. All right. So photos and a video at minimum. When you hire, and again, this is for you if you're selling on your own, but if you're working with an agent, make sure that they're hiring a reputable company and not just some like not the local high school kid who just got into photography, okay? Because that's important, right? It's not necessarily about just taking the photo. It's actually about the editing that really helps it stand out. So it's not just a photo. It's not the angle is important, right? And anyone can really take a photo. I mean, cameras give amazing photos. iPhones, Android phones, that you can get a really amazing photos, but honestly, it's the editing that really puts it over the top. So a must photos, professional. A must is video, and then virtual tours. They have Matterport tours. There's definitely other companies out there that are utilizing it as well. But that's extremely important. Virtual tours, right? People, they want to walk through your house before they walk through your house. And don't you want to cut down on just so many people coming through your house that aren't actually interested? If you have a house that's more of a contemporary home that doesn't have that traditional colonial style and layout or a Cape Cod layout, you want them to be able to see it before they come in, right? Because that's going to help cut out so many people who are not going to be interested. So showing it online first through professional photography is absolutely important. All right, sorry. Let me take a quick sip of water. Next up, we are going to dive deep into pricing. And I said earlier in the video that this is one of 2 areas that I'm really going to focus very heavy on. Setting the price is the foundation of a successful sale, and it's directly going to impact the interest, the speed of offers, and the potential final sale price. It is monumental to set the price right up front. And it has to be driven by data. We're not going off how we feel, because how we feel doesn't really matter. You can feel like your home should sell for $1 million. But if everyone else in the neighborhood is not, you know, that's not going to work, right? Oop, let me see. My camera turned off. Sorry about that. There we go. We're back on. We're back on. We're live. So setting the price is foundational. Um, Analyzing the market and setting competitive price. So you're partnering with your agent on this, okay? So your agent is going to do what they do. They're going to review comparable sales. And when it comes to listing your home and finding out the list price, not what the home is worth, right? Because at the end of the day, the only one who really sets what the home is worth is a home appraiser. A real estate agent, a real estate broker cannot come in and say, your home is worth this amount. They have to come in and say, I believe from this range, from this price to this price, this is a range. But at the end of the day, you choose what you want to list your home at. The agent's job is to review comparable sales. Your agent's going to analyze properties like yours that are same size, same condition, same location, same features. They're the comps, right? We always say comps. They're comparable sales. And you do that through a comparative market analysis. If I'm listing your home, you have a 4-bed, 2.5-bath colonial. That's 2,500 square feet with the 2-car garage on half an acre. I'm going to find other similar homes to that. I'm not going to compare your home to a 1,000 square foot ranch. It's not comparable. It's not comparable at all. I'm not going to compare your home to a Cape Cod. Excuse me. I'm not going to compare your home to a 4,000 square foot home that is contemporary with spiral stair, right? Like you're thinking like apples to apples. That's the whole point of comparative market analysis. Apples to apples, other similar homes, just like yours. So they're going to look at sale prices of similar homes, days on market, price per square foot, and the adjustments for the features. They're really the 4 things that you want to look at when it comes to CMA. Similar homes that have sold, days on market, price per square foot, and then adjustments for features, right? So you can compare your home, which is the colonial 4-bed, 2.5-bath, 2-car garage, right? And you can compare it to the same exact home that sold maybe a quarter of a mile away. But when I say adjust for features, the other property might have an updated kitchen that they did in 2023. Your kitchen might be 15 years old, right? And that house will sell for more than yours because that's just how it is. Now you adjust for those features. So if that sold for $475, so you think to yourself, okay, well, I could probably start my price at $450, right? If everything else is exactly the same, but you want to adjust for features. Homes that are more updated are going to sell for more money than homes that are not. And then you want to look at and evaluate the current market trends. This is really important as well. And this goes to a more macro level. So supply and demand. If there's low inventory in your area and high buyer demand, you can list for a little bit higher and generally get a higher price. If there's more inventory, so more homes for sale, but less buyer demand, then you're not going to be super aggressive with your pricing and price it really high, right? You're going to have to start lower. You want to look at seasonal patterns too, because timing matters. In a lot of different markets, timing matters. If you're in the Midwest, you probably want to be closer to like listing your home in May or June when it's much warmer than listing it in January where you're averaging like 3 feet of snow in a month. It's going to be hard to sell a home in the Midwest where you get 3 feet of snow in a month because buyers, I don't know, you're probably used to it. If you're listening to this from the Midwest, you're probably used to like seeing homes in blizzards and stuff, but like seasons matter. Spring and summer are often the most attractive, and fall and winter are slower. And then also economic influences are important to look at as well. So interest rates, employment rates, broader economic factors can affect buyer activity. They're going to affect buyer demand very much, right? And buyer demand has not been that strong this year. It has not, because interest rates have been higher and now they're going down, which is great. And then you really want to set a competitive price point. This is important. And it's like, if you can imagine, I should have, oh man, I should have set this for you. But if you can imagine a triangle, right? Here's the triangle, here's the base, here are the two sides. Up top, at the very top is a small percent, right? Let's just say it's 10, 15%. That's the amount of buyers that will be interested in your home if you grossly overprice it. So if everything is selling for 450 and you decide you want to list it at 500,000 with nothing else similar, a lot of other homes for sale and 450, 460, 475, and then you're just like, "No, 500." You're going to cut out the largest chunk of potential buyers, okay? And then in the middle of the triangle, we're going to say the standard, right? 450. So you're going to get a much larger buyer pool that's actually interested in your property and coming out and seeing it, making an offer. And then a smaller price point, or I'm sorry, the smaller percentage at the bottom, right? The fattest part of the triangle, right? The thickest part. That's where you list below market value to drive buyer demand. And that's when you're going to get the most amount of buyers, when you're slightly listed below. Now, I'm not saying if everything's selling for, excuse me, burping on camera. If everything is selling for 450, you're not going to want to list your home at 350 unless it needs a ton of work. But if you list it at 350, yeah, you might get a crap load of buyers that are interested, but you're also going to get a lot of investors and they're going to making you lowball offers. And you might not get back up to 450, okay? I'm saying like a percent, 2, 3% below market value, okay? That's where you want to be. That's where you attract when you're looking at that triangle, right? When you list it slightly below, that's when you attract all the buyers, okay? That's the strategy, in my opinion. That's what I tell my clients all the time. You choose it. Again, you choose it. When you're listing and selling your home, you choose the price. It's the agent's job. It's my job as a real estate broker to give you all the data possible so you can make an informed decision. At the end of the day, I don't get to decide it. You decide the list price. I talked about benefits and competitive pricing. So again, you list too high, you're going to push out a lot of people. And then when it comes to pricing, you don't always get it right. Agents don't always get it right. And I will say this, it's impossible to know for sure when you list a home if it's going to sell for list price, under, or over. It's impossible. It's really impossible to know. And I say this to my clients all the time, the importance of adaptability. You really have to monitor what is happening with showings and with offers. At the end of the day, the buyer chooses the price that they want to offer for your home. So when it comes to, okay, when someone says, okay, well, what's this home worth? It's worth what the seller's willing to accept and what the buyer is willing to pay for it. That's it. And buyers are very, 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 very informed. They have access to Zillow and Trulia and Realtor.com. They have access to the data. Now, they don't, for the most part, the vast majority of buyers don't necessarily know how to aggregate the data like we do as real estate professionals, but they know, they're savvy, they understand, right? So that means that you're not going to be able to get over on someone in this market. You want to monitor early interest, buyer behavior, the number of showings or the offers you're getting or lack thereof offers, feedback from showings. If you have your home listed at 500,000 and you get 30 showings and you get no offers and you get feedback from half of them and they say it's overpriced and your home is on the market for 30 days, what do you think? Like, honestly, make a decision. You have to be adaptable. You have to understand that if that's the case, you're overpriced. You have to come down. You have to do a price drop. You have to be strategic about making price adjustments as well. Early adjustments. If interest is low after the first really 2 or 3 weeks, especially in this market. Now, I will say this, there's nuances to everything all across the US. I understand that. There's always going to be nuances. But for the most part, and this is where having a great local agent who understands the market, if you're in a seller's market, like the vast majority of the US is still in a seller's market, the vast majority, but there are a lot of places that are not. They're in a buyer's market. So you have to understand, maybe your home's going to sit for 3 months or 4 months or 5 months. But if you're in a stronger market, if your home's on the market for 2 to 3 weeks with little showings, no offers, it's price. You have to get ahead of it and make those early adjustments. You want to avoid making multiple small reductions too. Like buyers shop in increments, right? They'll shop from 400 to 450 max, or for 450 to 500. If you have to go back to the 30 showings, no offers, 15 people say it's overpriced, you're priced at 500. What is dropping at $1,000 going to do? Down to 499. It's not going to do anything, right? You're going to have to make a significant price reduction. You want to do that ahead. You don't want to do multiple small reductions. That's not going to help you at all. It's not going to help you. So you're going to want to reduce it 25 grand. Bring it down to 475. You're going to get more interest. Maybe you grossly overpriced it to start. Your agent told you should be at 450 and you're like, I'm going to do 500. You're going to have to come down to 450 or 500 or 450. Dude. Look, pricing is so important. It's so very important. And it's one of those things you have to get right in order to be successful when you do sell your home. All right. That was a long one. This is also going to be a little bit longer too. Aggressive marketing and showing strategy. Look, once you do all this great stuff, you get your home ready, you make the repairs, you do the staging, you do the decluttering, you have the conversation with your agent, you talk about price and where you're going to list it. Then the hard part comes, or the harder part. And this is for agents to do for you. But if you're doing this yourself, you have to have an aggressive marketing strategy, right? So listing on all the top platforms and utilizing social media. When I put a listing into the multiple listing service, the MLS, that data, the MLS is in a certain geographic area. So Bright MLS, which is what I use here in Greater Philadelphia and Chester County, PA, that goes all over Greater Philadelphia. It goes into parts of Jersey, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, right? But when I list a home in the MLS, it automatically aggregates to all those major listing sites. You have your Zillows, your Realtor.coms, your Trulias, your Homes.com, okay? All those places, that home is already, it's because they have partnerships worked out where these companies are like, all right, I want the data from the MLS. So they have partnerships and all of the listings get put on this, okay? Very important to have. With the MLS, though, this is important because some MLSs, especially in the Poconos, the MLS situation up there is a complete mess. I can list a home in the Pocono Mountains under the Pocono MLS in Flex. It's called Flex MLS. I can list it if it's in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. And if someone that's in Greater Scranton, they won't be able to actually see it on the MLS. Like an agent won't be able to see it because they're separate. But it always gets put onto Zillow and Trulia.com and Realtor.com and things like that. So that's important because that's where buyers are shopping. Okay. So that automatically happens. When it comes to the MLS listing, this is important. You really need to understand this. It is very important to be as detailed as possible about your home on the description and then everything else. So you want to make sure you're as accurate as you can with square feet, Finished, unfinished, what kind of roof? Is it pitched roof? Is it a flat roof? Is it slate? Is it shingles? What kind of drywall insulation do you have? Is it R10? What kind of flooring do you have in the house? We have carpet in mind. We have hardwood. We have tile, two different kinds of tile, right? So there's a lot of different floorings, right? It's important to be very detailed because you can argue this with me if you want, but I think that buyers are still reading it before they're coming to your house. They want to know what the heck is going on. It's important to be detailed. Your listing description should tell the story of your home. If your agent is writing a listing description, this pisses me off, and it's 4 sentences, and there's no, it's a 4-bed, 2-bath, 2,000. Yeah, we know that, dude. We know that. It's already in the MLS and it already shows up. Like, you don't have to repeat. You don't want to repeat everything. You want to be detailed. You want to tell the story of the home. It's so important. All right. I'm going to get away from that one. But that's like the process, right? It starts there. The marketing starts there. And then from there, once you have the professional photos, the video, the tour, then you get really in depth with the social media marketing, right? So we're utilizing Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, X. Some people even put it on Pinterest if they have accounts there, right? Everywhere on social media. You want to be everywhere you possibly can, on your agent's personal site, on their business page site, on your personal site, right? Once your agent has the write-up and everything's ready to go, you want to copy that and put it on yours as well. Get that information out there to your friends, to your family. They should be utilizing all the local Facebook groups, posting the homes for sale as long as it's okay. Put it on Twitter, right? YouTube. YouTube is the second leading, which a lot of people are watching this on it. And that's where I put all my content. It's the second leading search engine. There's so many people that are looking for homes for sale on YouTube. Okay. Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, LinkedIn. Utilize all these social media platforms as much as you possibly can. And you have, right, in short form video is so popular right now. So in addition to having a long form video of your home that takes buyers through it, maybe it's 4, 5, 6 minutes, 10 minutes long, right? I like to do really long and longer in-depth videos. It doesn't have to be like super high production, but I can do it really well, where I'm going to show every aspect of the house that I can. And buyers like that, right? If it's a 20-minute video, they're going to be like invested in it and say, oh, wow, this is awesome. But then short form is great because that catches attention, right? You want to catch attention as much as possible. So short form is really important. Email marketing. I still think email really, really works. A lot of agents, I have an email list of 3,000 people that at some point either sold with me or expressed interest in being a buyer, right? So that's really important to get on top of that too. A lot of agents, again, have email lists. A lot of brokerages have email lists too. So because you want to attack every single point of entry, right? That these buyers can be looking. You want to be everywhere. Your home wants to be everywhere. That's what it is. Google, make sure your home is on Google as well. Have your agent put it on their Google My Business page. Do paid advertising, right? Your agent is going to offer you different levels of service. Paid, organic, every single place you can possibly be. Open houses are still important. Things have changed where open houses are going to be more important. There's going to be more unrepresented buyers due to the NAR lawsuit, which I've made multiple videos about already. Open houses, promoting the open house online, promoting it to neighbors, door knocking. And then honestly, like, you can even get back to those old school ways, right? Newspaper, local magazines, if you have more of a luxury home, local papers. I get a local paper, and I actually get a local magazine, East Brandywine magazine, and they advertise homes for sale in there too. So With marketing, you want to be multi-channel, multifaceted, and make sure that that home is showing up everywhere that buyers are looking. Everywhere that there's eyeballs, everywhere that there's attention, Twitch, right? Live stream the house, live stream an open house. I mean, that's a great way. You can do a live video on Instagram. You can do a live video on Facebook. You can do live like this on YouTube. You can do a live stream of the house, answer questions when you're there in person and buyers are interested and they want to, there's so much you can do. But you want to make sure that you are everywhere. Next up, we have offering flexible viewing options. It's kind of self-explanatory. What I mean is you're offering weekday, evening, weekend showings to fit buyer's schedule. Virtual tours are great for this. You really want to detail to your agent when buyers can see the property, because agents can set that up in the showing instructions. Okay. You can have windows if you want. You can allow showings whenever someone schedules. Like a lot of people work from home. If they're selling their home, they're okay with getting it ready morning, noon, and night. But if it's harder because you have kids that come home from school and it's harder in the evenings, you might want to block it out. But you understand that a lot of buyers want to see properties at night because they're getting home from work too. Like, you have to be flexible. You have to be able to, almost at the drop of a dime, to like get the house ready in showing condition for those last minute showings, because someone could see it and be like, I need to see this property. Call up their wife, call up their friend, call up their mom and dad and say, hey, let's go. Come with me to see this house. It's beautiful. It's perfect. It could be 6 p.m. on a Thursday night and they want to see it in half an hour. Right. And I understand, like, everyone has a life, but you just have to be flexible for this period of time. It's just for this short period of time, right, that your home is actively for sale. You need to be flexible. That is important. And just keep spaces tidy, well lit, and inviting for those last minute showings too. That's the hard part. I'm telling you, that's the hard part. And that's what a lot of people struggle with, especially those with young kids or kids in general, because they just make a mess. But keep it tidy. All right, last on the list, we have the pre-inspection for peace of mind, right? So we went through everything to get ready, prepare your home, pricing, marketing, everything to get your home listed and for sale. Now, this doesn't have anything to do with going under I'll make different videos for that, going on the contract, negotiating. But if you want peace of mind, get a pre-listing home inspection done. You're going to uncover all the issues that you don't know about, identify hidden problems, and then you're going to be able to take action and make those repairs. Or you adjust the price accordingly. If you find out something needs, like, if you find out your roof, okay, is on its last leg, it's probably going to be replaced in like 2 or 3 years, you don't have the finances to do it right now, just bake that into the price. If you're planning on listing for, $500,000, just put it up for 480. Say, look, this needs a new roof. You're going to have an inspection done. They're going to say it needs a new roof. Or maybe try and list it at 500 and see what happens. Negotiate from there, right? So there's different strategies that you can do. You can list at 500, let them determine it needs a new roof, and they say, I want it for 480. I want 20 grand off. Well, I'll give you 10 grand towards it. Okay, sure, that's fine. Things like that. So pre-listing home inspection, it boosts buyer confidence, right? So once you have the pre-listing home inspection, and also you have the seller's property disclosure filled out in detail, right? You want to be transparent. Transparency is key. And this helps to add to that transparency, right? Because you're openly sharing the property's details. You know what's wrong with it. You fix items that you could. You left things out that you couldn't fix, but you're detailing it. You're being upfront. You're being honest, right? Transparency is key. It is key. I promise you. I know that was a lot of information. I know it. It was a lot. I get it. But again, you can keep coming back to this video time and time again, right? This is the 10-step process. If you follow it exactly, you're going to guarantee the sale of your home. You're going to get the most amount of money You're going to sell in the quickest amount of time, and you're going to get the best possible terms. I will stake my career on it. There's always going to be little nuances that you have to do. And if you skip things and you're like, whoa, Sean said that if I do it, right? But you have to follow it. You have to do this. If you do this, you're going to be successful. So if you have any questions about this, just drop them in the comments. If you are listing and selling your home anywhere in the US and you want me and my team to do the hard work of finding the right agent for you, which is, again, really important. They mesh well with you. They have local market knowledge. They're smart. They have a great marketing plan. They have a great pricing strategy, but you don't necessarily want to go find them. I'm in a almost global real estate brokerage, close to global. We're in the US and Canada, almost 22,000 agents branching out in the different countries in the next few years, right? I have connections to all these great agents that I can connect you with when you're listing and selling. And if you are in greater Philadelphia and you are interested, hey, Eli, mailers too. Yeah, mailers work too, man. Great topic. Thanks, Jenny. Oh my God, I can't believe I missed some of this. Sellers should not be in the house for sale. Oh, that's a good point. When it comes to showings too, make sure you're not in the house. Don't be in the house. It's creepy. It makes buyers feel super uncomfortable. Unless you have to be. Again, there's always situations, right? If you're on a ventilator and you have to be doing it during that time, it is what it is. But make yourself sparse. Don't be around if you don't have to be. Again, you're in greater Philadelphia or the Pocono Mountains, you need to sell your home. Click that link. It's in the description. It's in the comments. It's in my profile on this page. But this is it. Like, this is what I specialize in, listing and selling homes, and I can help connect you with anyone nationwide too, or in Canada. Look forward to speaking with you guys. If you have any questions, always feel free to reach out. I love chatting about selling